Hey there, I'm srcmake, and today I'm going to teach you about Python virtual environments. So as usual, I've got my website open and it's got this nice article on Python virtual environments. And if you'd like to read this article, then go ahead and click below this video. There'll be a link to this page and you can go ahead and click it and it'll take you to this page. And while you're down there, you can also click the subscribe button for this YouTube channel. So what is a Python virtual environment? Let's say that we have a Python project and we want to use a special library in it. Well, to actually get that library working, we need to download it onto our computer. So that's what we use pip for. We say pip install the library name and pip installs it. And that's great for our computer, but when we want to share our Python project with someone else, they might not have the library downloaded on their computer, and so what they would need to do is they would need to do the pip install on their computer as well. And this gets a little messy because you're kind of clogging up your Python with all these different libraries and you're assuming that everyone else is going to have to do the same thing. So the solution to this is to have a Python virtual environment. What it does is it's basically a command for the command line, and it installs the Python libraries that you need for your project locally in the project folders. Python virtual environment handles it. And so when you give someone your project, they use the Python virtual environment command and it'll handle all the installation for them. They don't have to worry about doing the installation or having like failed dependencies, stuff like that. So we're going to go through an example of how this works and why we would need it. So I'm going to move this over and I'm going to use it as a reference. And I've got Linux running right now, Ubuntu Linux 16, and it's got a folder right here, PVE is the name, and we are going to create a source folder, and let's see the source, because you know the name is srcmake. We always have to put our code in the source file. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a simple Python project. That's what we're going to make right now. Let's create a file called main.py. Let's open it up, and our project's going to have 2 lines of code. It's going to have import Scapy. That's the special library we're going to be using. We're going to say, okay, we want Scapy in our project, let's import it. And we're also going to have a simple line that says hello world from srcmake.py. And that's our project. Our project is 2 simple lines of code. But the trouble is going to be this import Scapy. So before we get started trying to use it, make sure that sudo apt-get install Python. If you're on like Linux or something like that, or Mac, make sure you have these commands like down. If you're on Windows, you could also have it down if you use like bash or something like that. So I think the password is just password. So make sure we have Python installed. Make sure we have Python pip installed, because that's pip, that's the package manager for Python. Yes, you can do that. Oh man, I hope this doesn't take too long. So we need pip, and wow, it's actually updating something. I can't believe that. I thought it was all working, like up to date, but I guess not. Anyway, so you need Python, you need pip, and what you also need is you need sudo pip is going to install pip env, which is the Python virtual environment. So what this does is it pip installs pip env, and that's going to create a Python virtual environment command for our command window. So now we can do pip env, and that command is actually going to do stuff for us on our terminal. So that's great. We've got Python installed. Let's try to run our file, our main.py file. So what we would do is we would type main.py, Python main.py, and we get an error, right? Input error. No module named Scapy. That's because we don't have this installed locally, globally on our virtual machines Python libraries. We don't have Scapy installed. So instead of actually installing it with pip, we could do this. We could do this and that would install it globally for us, but that's not really helpful, right? If we want to share our project, someone else is going to have to do that, and that just gives them too much work. We're actually going to install it using the Python virtual environment. So now we're going to use that command we just made, pip env install and Scapy. So the Python virtual environment is going to install Scapy locally in this project, and you can see that this pip file gets made, the Python virtual environment file. I don't know why it's called pip file. I actually don't know the reason these file names are like that. And then it also has this, and now it's installed the library locally, sort of. I'm gonna wave my hands a little bit because I don't think it actually installs it. I think what it does is just installs it in our Python. Okay, so let's just go through this and then I'll show you. So let's try Python main.py again. And it says no module name Scapy. That's bad. Why is it like that? Well, that's because we installed the library through the Python virtual environment. We didn't actually install it globally, so what we'd have to do is we'd have to run this file through the pip environment Python running. So we say pipenv, we're going to run, and then we're going to do Python main.py. So we're still doing Python main.py, but we're running it through the pip environment because that's where our libraries are. So let's do that, and yay! We don't get an error, and we do get this message because we do get to this line of code. So it works. And just to confirm, let's do sudo pip install Scapy locally. And once you do install Scapy, now globally I have the Scapy library downloaded onto my computer. So in my Python libraries on this computer, Python has Scapy, and that's why this works now. But in case someone else doesn't have that on their computer, and they would get that error, so that's why we would do it through pip environment. So I know that was a little bit of we kind of did a hit and run there, but that's how you use Python virtual environments. When should you use it? You should probably always use it. Every time you have an import, I think you should use pip environment if you plan to share your code. That's just like the professional thing to do. It's good practice, and it'll be useful for other people, especially even if they don't know how to use pip environment because they're a little bit noob. You can just point them to this article and they'll learn about it, and then everyone becomes better. Then you don't have to worry about dependency issues with them saying your code doesn't work. So that's how you use Python virtual environments, and go ahead and use that. So I'm srcmake. Thanks for watching.